Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 60.
Number 60.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Winter Garden, Florida.
Great place for all your Disney collectible needs. Plus, they have a brand new online shop.
And more merchandise coming in this week is what we were told.
That's true.
And Maple Leaf Tickets in Kissimmee, Florida.
Our official ticket agency and the best place for tickets in town.
And we're going to start first with the Spirit of 76 pre-parade in the Magic Kingdom.
Seems like so long ago. That was last Monday.
It doesn't, a week ago, right?
Very rainy. This was a very rainy day and a very rainy week. I actually recorded this with an umbrella in one hand and the video camera in the other.
And it wasn't the full parade. It was, they were missing, what, the Calliope, which didn't come out
and
for a few more days.
The band. I guess the band that day made it halfway through, and then they bailed out because it started raining really hard. So it was rough. It was a rough week to record things with all the rain.
There was a lot of rain. We've had a lot of rain recently.
But it was still kind of cool to see, you know, all the Main Street characters out and about. So I enjoyed it, the pre-parade. I wish they did have the Calliope. We never did get to see it.
I think Thursday, right? We were told Thursday.
Thursday was the first day, and
this
even
is
that,
Monday.
Right? This was Monday, so it took many tries before they got the whole thing out. But this is pretty cool. You got the horses in tow and everything, so it was still a very nice pre-parade. You know, something a little different to see.
It was funny because they had dancers, and so they had all these dancers, like hundreds of dancers, come down beforehand. I'm like, was that the pre-parade?
That was some kind of promotion.
It was a different pre-parade.
Yeah, they scheduled these dancers to come and perform. But the parents were nutty. It was insane. I said, boy, patriotic. There were so many patriotic. I've never seen. And of course, it wasn't at all for the patriotic pre-parade, but it was to see their own kids.
And as soon as their own, down the street,
as soon as the own kids left, they all left. Like nobody cared. This was pretty much empty. But there they are, patriotic Goofy and Donald and Pluto.
I would have liked to have seen the meet and greet in Town Square.
Yeah, I thought that would have been a nice idea too. And maybe, who knows, if they ever do another 4th of July type event, they will have that.
And that would be very nice. And we are now heading into the Rainy Day Cavalcade.
Yeah, the Rainy Day Cavalcade. Very cool to finally see it.
And this is Mickey and Minnie. There's only 3 cars, and Mickey and Minnie are in the lead one.
And I'm not sure if normally this Rainy Day Cavalcade is more elaborate. I've seen some pictures online where they've had a lot more. So maybe this truly was a very last minute decision. Here's Chip and Dale. And
then the Princess car. This is one, as you would say, had all the attention,
of course, everybody wants to see the princesses. And there's Ariel. I would think Ariel would be pretty good in the rain, actually.
So she should get out of the car, is that what you're saying?
Right. She doesn't need protection from the water, right? As long as she doesn't have that tail start coming in.
And then Cinderella and Snow White. And
all sorts of princesses. So, yeah. It
was very fast.
I'm glad we finally got to see it, though. And also, okay, so after that, it was still raining, but we decided to go and check out the new walkway at the villas at the Grand Floridian.
And it actually wasn't raining at this point, but it had still been raining when we arrived. And there is now, the pathway actually goes along the water, and you can see the construction of the villas from all sides. And the villas will be opening, I believe in October is when they're opening.
So another thing of interest about this walkway is there is still a little bit of beach left, just a little bit.
Just a little bit, not enough to put a towel down.
Right, you'd have a hard time setting up your towel there, but also these rocks, which is a bit of an issue because I can see a lot of people, mostly kids, climbing along the rocks, even though there are a few little signs saying to do not pass the beach.
I think it's going to be an attractive nuisance. That's what an Imagineer called the cars over at Disney's Art of Animation, because, you know, kids want to climb on them, even adults sometimes want to climb on them. So I don't know if they'll end up putting a little fence. They never did that at Disney's Art of Animation around the car, so who knows?
Right. I mean, it does look very beautiful. I like this pathway. I think we will enjoy walking this path, especially, of course, when it's finished. Yes, we went again last night. But when the resort is finished, I think we'll even like that walk even better. And another thing coming up is they also have a new fire pit, just like the Polynesian.
Right. Disney's Polynesian Resort just opened a fire pit, although there's no seating around it. I don't know if they will add seating.
It doesn't look like they will. This one does have the seating, and I think the seating is a nice addition to it.
And this is where, like, you'd be making s'mores before, I don't know where they'll put the movie, I guess nearby on that little
right.
area.
Well, the movie will still be where it normally is over there on the beach, but the campfire will be right here at the permanent fire pit.
I really like the seating here, and I think it's a nice addition.
It is nice that there still is some beach remaining.
Well, it used to be Disney's Grand Floridian Beach Resort.
Right, so now it's Disney's Grand Floridian Lesser Beach Resort, but still beach.
And we're going to also be talking about the 25th anniversary of Disney's Grand Floridian Resort.
Very exciting. They had a nice ceremony. We didn't know much about it, and we took a chance, went there, and boy, it was exceeded my expectations.
And there's Miss Lorraine singing a couple of songs.
Yes.
And we're also going to be seeing, I believe, the ambassador, the 2013 Disney ambassador, Rich Tomeo, who it was actually a ceremony with Mickey and Minnie and the general manager, Norm Noble.
Speaking of Mickey and Minnie, here they come in their Victorian garb.
I just thought it was so great. And there's Richard also. If anybody who goes to Disney's Grand Floridian Resort will know who Richard is. He is the greeter.
He's the greeter. We actually had our pictures taken with the greeter. You had to.
Right.
You had to on the anniversary.
He's been there for such a long time.
Forever, it seems.
And again, this is Grand Floridian General Manager Norm Noble, who said a few words as well.
And of course, you know I love the characters, so we had to get some shots of Mickey and Minnie reacting to the speeches, and they seem to really be enjoying the festivities of the 25th anniversary of the Grand.
And I was hoping they'd have a little meet and greet too. I always like the meet and greets, but it was still fun to see them. These are cast members up above, and we had no idea why.
Yeah, and there were hundreds of cast members all around the rotunda up there, but these were part of the show doing the umbrella. Yeah, the parasols. That's correct. Yes.
And streamers, later streamers.
Right, and they're counting. Well, actually, they're singing "Happy Birthday, Grand Floridian," and then boom, all the streamers come out, and it was sort of the grand finale. But it was very nice that they, had the cast members a part of the show.
And I remember how exciting it was when Disney's Grand Floridian Resort opened. I wanted to stay there, but it was way out of budget at that time.
Silver streamers for the silver anniversary. Very cool. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience.
I did too. It was about a 15-minute ceremony, but very, very nicely done. I think sometimes a little nicer anniversary, that this was a nicer anniversary than the theme parks sometimes get.
And everybody mixed and mingled after, and they talked to the guests. So it was a rainy day, and it was a nice surprise. Now, the rainy theme continues. The next day, we went to LEGOLAND. LEGOLAND for the new land.
World of Chima.
World of Chima. And the new ride.
Quest for Chi.
Quest for Chi. So anyway, here we go. It's the typical opening ceremony, and you have your Lavel the lion and
Cragger the crocodile.
Cragger, and he also has a swamp, if you remember.
And I believe that the show, the Chima show, is supposed to be on the Cartoon Network starting maybe tomorrow or in a couple days.
Yeah, very, very soon.
Legends of Chima.
It's kind of cool that they opened this land before the show even debuted on the Cartoon Network.
They were supposed to be sort of simultaneous, but they were within about 1 week of each other.
So here we are, entering the world of Chima.
And Quest for Chi is in front of us, and we're going to be taking just kind of a brief look of the boats going around in just a second. Right,
we're going to set up our interview with the General Manager Adrian Jones. But first, here we go. Here is the Lavel the lion guarding the Quest for Chi.
And you can kind of remember him because he sort of has that heat miser hair going on.
Is that, you think he has that heat miser hair?
I think so.
And here we are on the way to the queue. You can see the boats and everything going by here.
And we got very, very wet.
Yes, this is a very dangerous place to be under normal circumstances, but we'll see more of that later. Here is Adrian Jones to talk about the new land.
Adrian Jones, I'm the Divisional Director for LEGOLAND Florida.
It's really a ride that anybody can enjoy.
Anybody can go on this ride. That's a key point. Any families with small children can go on this ride if you can walk onto this ride, and that's a key point in the context of, toddlers in arms cannot go on the ride, obviously, but then we've got Cragger's Swamp, which fulfills that criteria. But it's huge fun, huge interaction. It's actually quite a long ride as well, and you do get wet on this ride.
So how long is the ride, and how wet do you get?
It's about 5.5 minutes long, not including the storytelling and the queue line and the immersive things in the queue line. But once you're on the ride, you get very wet, because if you're triggering targets that fire back water at you, and we've also got Mount Cavora that you've seen, which has cascading waterfalls, you're going to get wet.
We're looking forward to seeing it. We'll be riding probably in a couple minutes.
That's right.
Well, you're already wet now because
I know, guys. So, it won't be too much different. It was nice. You themed the clouds for today.
The weather was appropriate, I think, for a water ride.
And I know there's characters also that might be doing meet and greets.
Yeah, we've got Cragger the crocodile and Lavelle the lion prince, and those will be doing regular meet and greets in the bazaar outdoor area over there. So yeah, hugely important component to the actual ride and offering as well.
We look forward to it. We're ready to go.
We saw the construction a few months ago. It's really come from there to here in a very fast time.
Sense of relief. My team are awesome, I have to say. I don't think any other team that I've ever worked with could ever actually have delivered what we've done in such a short space of time. So.
And no doubt you have some other things in the works?
We have a lot of things in the works. But you wouldn't come out and see them otherwise, would you?
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for coming out.
We always enjoy talking to Adrian at these things.
He's always a lot of fun.
So this is the queue. The queue is very, very interesting. I like the way they set you up here.
And part of the queue is actually just a kind of simple and concrete. 2 months ago, there was nothing here. There was nothing here, and we did a hard hat tour, and it's amazing how quickly they were building.
Yeah, they got this done really fast. I mean, within just a few months. Now, here's the boat.
Lavel the Lion. I believe that's him with the hair.
What if you're wrong?
I don't think
the
I'm
heat
wrong.
miser hair.
I couldn't find anybody
I will never
with heat
forget it
miser
now.
hair.
I will always remember Lavel, heat miser. And I like this. See, this is an example of how you can squirt the characters while you're on the boat.
And you will want like ponchos. Now, this water ride doesn't go like downhill or anything, but everybody gets squirted. Even if you're on the shore, you get squirted.
Yeah, you will not get a little wet. You will be drenched. I mean, we had ponchos, but we were completely drenched. You know, of course, it was raining also, and there was other factors involved. But, you know, it's, again, a Lego attraction. There's a lot of Lego different scenes that you go by.
This is like a waterfall area, and that gets you very wet.
Not to mention the people shooting high-volume water at you from outside the attraction and from other boats.
You know, not only the kids love this, but everybody who was part of our group really loved, you know, just squirting everybody. And
it's a lot of fun. It really was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And here's the heat miser who's driving our boat.
Lavel the Lion.
Yes.
And they look like airboats.
Everybody was so happy. And see, this is what you're going to see. But when you're doing this, they can get you back. Like, it's not a typical thing where you can squirt the guests.
So you don't want to stand there with like a camera or something, because you can get your camera, you know, soaked also.
Right. Okay,
it was so much fun.
It's time for our review of The Lone Ranger.
And what do you want to say about it? It was not the movie for me.
Well, everybody knows now. I mean, the movie has been out. The box office tally is in. Despicable Me trounced The Lone Ranger.
By about $100 million.
When we saw the movie at a screening, you really had a hard time. I mean,
I had a hard time with the violence.
You said you would have walked out.
I would have walked out on The Lone Ranger. I think the last half hour was exactly what The Lone Ranger should have been the whole time.
Right. It seemed like the movie was trying to find a way to set up the last, you know, the whole train scene, which I thought was good, but there was just too much gore.
To me, it was too violent, and I don't like very violent, continually violent movies, and especially, you know, something that's aimed for kids. I think it should have been more cartoony. Right,
and that's the problem. It was aimed for families. You had a preview at the Hollywood Studios, and it really wasn't a family movie. It was a hard PG-13. Mm-hmm. I think it could have been an R.
Me too. And I'm surprised Despicable Me 2 was rated PG. So, you know, I didn't think that should have been. So I just can't recommend The Lone Ranger. I know a lot of people who really enjoy it, but especially for kids, I think you should watch it first and then let the kids see it if you think it's okay.
Right. I did enjoy this scene, the ending scene, you know, the big chase scene. That was a lot of fun. I wish the whole movie could have been like that.
They did their own stunts, and I think that's awesome. You know, that's what I was looking forward to the most.
So, unfortunately, we were disappointed by The Lone Ranger, but all is not to be lost, because also the very next day we went to a preview of Despicable Me 2.
And I love this film. I love this film so much. The first one had so much, I don't want to say heart in it.
Yeah, we have to be careful with heart puns.
But it's sort of, there's a lot more minions, but I didn't think it was too many minions. But I just thought it was, you know, just such a great film. You had more heart in it because the little ones are looking for a mom. And maybe they find one.
But I think there was a lot of laughs. To me, I laughed. I had a lot of laugh out loud moments, which is not always easy for me. And it was just it was delightful. It was fun. I can't wait to see it again.
I know. Well, when it ended, I turned to you and I said, I want to see this again. And if you see in 3D, you want to see in 3D because the ending credits are so fun.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where I would say it's worth it to pay the extra few dollars for 3D just for the ending credits. Just for the ending credits.
I think that the 3D in the end credits was the best 3D in the whole film.
It's probably the best 3D I've seen in a film in quite some time, really.
And the minions here, I like, the village people minions. I like the Isaac.
Yes.
Isaac
and minion. The evil minions. Let's not forget the evil. How could you not love an evil minion?
We just picked up a minion at McDonald's.
Yes, that's true. And I hope to get the full set. So anyway,
not much spoilers there, except that we both really enjoyed this film.
We would say 2 big thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 Mousesteps feet up for the Despicable Me 2 in theaters now. So, and that's it for our movie segment. Next, we have 4th of July.
Oh, gosh, 4th of July. There's so much that we did last week.
Yeah, it was a very busy week. So it was actually, this is on the 4th of July, as we do every year. We went to Epcot, and here is Chip and Dale in their patriotic finery.
And we always enjoy meeting the characters, but although we didn't meet Chip and Dale, we just sort of saw them as they came and went because the line was so long.
The line was very long, but it's still nice. I mean, last year when we did this, they had all of the 5 characters, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Chip, and Dale. But it turns out after the show is over, the concert, then they have the full 5 characters in the afternoon.
At the very end of all the concerts, they had them.
Right, so we know that for next. So there's a tip for next year if you want to see all 5 characters.
They may be there at the end.
Correct. Anyway, this is one of the highlights of the concert at the American Gardens Theater.
The Voices of Liberty
Voices
show.
of Liberty, 4th of July concert, they call it.
And Mickey and Goofy and Donald make an entrance.
And at the time, what a nice looking day.
It looked great.
Who would think that rains would come in at the very end and blitzing rain would happen?
I felt so bad for everybody who everybody who was sitting out in the elements.
Right. But it really was, every year we see this, it hasn't changed as far as I can think, except for the outfits, it has not changed in 4 or 5 years.
Well, Mickey, Goofy, and Donald, I believe, are in the same outfits, but the Voices of Liberty were dressed a little more casually than I'm used to seeing them.
Yeah, they're definitely a different attire than the...
I actually like last year's outfits better because they're all sort of the same and they all are very flattering type outfits. These are all different types of
And
dresses.
look at the wind. Look at the wind pickup.
Oh, no.
This is the very end,
the
and they're all sort of getting winded out there.
We were really lucky to be underneath.
But a wonderful, wonderful show. Again, we'll link to it. You really need to watch. The rendition of the national anthem is fantastic.
And they brought the characters did not go out the normal way.
So 5 minutes later, this is what you saw. I had to jump up on the stage to get this video, but it was worth it. I mean, look at them all with their umbrellas.
Mickey Mouse doesn't even rate an umbrella holder.
Yeah.
Like somebody to
the Big Cheese. You would think the Big Cheese would have an umbrella holder, wouldn't you?
You would think so.
I get no, but Mickey has that drum. He's got a schlep of the drum, that big drum, and I love the ECV zipping by. Somebody wrote that moment when the person on the ECV is zipping by the characters. That made me laugh. But anyway, that was the 4th of July. Later that afternoon, we went and met Duffy.
Right, and it looked like it was about to pour again. I mean, it really has been like a monsoon season.
Poor Duffy must have ran inside, but he was a very energetic and good Duffy. I asked him if he could show us his backside, the little mark he has, and there it is. And there is his hidden Mickey.
And I took a photo on Instagram, and everybody thought he was going to...
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate angle.
I thought that was
what
hilarious.
A nice bear. The bear, he is so nice. It was fun. So, 4th of July fireworks. This is the Magic Kingdom show. It's Celebrate America, a 4th of July concert in the sky. And we've seen it from every angle. This was the first time. This was from...
Disney's the Bay Lake Tower.
Bay Lake Tower, top of the world. And this was the first time we saw it. The second time, it was at the Grand Floridian.
Right, in the grass.
In front of the balconies on Grand Floridian. Well, our friend was staying on the 3rd floor, but we decided the grass would have been a better view.
And it was pretty quiet, but it's not as good a view. Certainly, this is probably my favorite.
This was my favorite from this year. And then we saw it again at the Polynesian.
Twice.
So we've seen this
not
show.
Not from inside any park. We did not see
No.
any
Let's not get crazy.
The park.
We've long ago given up going inside the park on the 4th of July. We were actually home on the 4th of July by 10 o'clock.
Probably right after the fireworks, we zipped away.
But this to me was the ultimate. The very first time we saw it, just amazing.
This is a terrific view right here.
I would highly recommend top of the world for the 4th of July.
And
fireworks.
July 4th was the only day that had the 360.
No, the 3rd and the 4th.
I'm sorry, the 3rd and 4th.
So that's the ultimate is when they have the 360, the full show.
Right.
Okay, next, Fast Park and Relax.
And we were invited to try Fast Park and Relax airport parking in Orlando. We used it when we went to my dad's, and we had received 5 days free to test it, and we also paid the remaining day. And we were so impressed by this company. Fast, I thought was... It was fast.
Everything just worked out perfectly. And I mean, I can't guarantee this is going to happen every time, but I mean, we pulled in, boom, truck's right there. They put the bags in, take us to the airport. First stop, Southwest is where we were going, and coming back it was the same way. So we had a great experience. Everybody was very nice to us there. What we
really liked was the covered parking. It cost about the same. It was about $7.50 for the 1 day, including taxes, for covered parking, as opposed to in the dirt parking or non-covered.
And that came in very handy because it was pouring rain when we came home.
And there's a little leak in the car.
And they also have free charging for these electric type cars.
Right. So if you're bringing your electric car, it doesn't cost anything extra.
And they didn't pay us anything to put this segment on. I mean, aside from giving us the blogger, the testing out thing, we just really thought it was a very good experience and would recommend it.
And this is a little pack for children, and every child will get one this summer.
So check them out if you're looking for parking. Fast Park and Relax.
Very highly recommended.
Okay, so today, this brings us to today. We went to Epcot. Today is Monday, the first day of Limited Time Magic. Mickey's America Streetbeat.
And we enjoyed this so much that I wanted to put this into the show.
Yes, that you said, this is such a good show, we need to add it. And let's be honest now, going in, we both had kind of low expectations of what this show would be.
Right, because we saw something at D23 that I didn't like it. I guess at Disney California Adventure, the show was quite different. But this was so energetic and just... Minnie tap dancing and
very talented.
Very
all
talented,
the dancers are very talented and fun.
Acrobatics, goofy drumming.
And it was about 90 or so degrees, probably hotter on the stage. And this duck has a lot of feathers here. I mean, it's amazing how good they are able to do in that heat. I was impressed.
And this is for limited time magic, so it's only till July 14th. So again, I wanted to mention it that this is actually
shaking their tail feathers.
This is like a 20-minute show that really is worth seeing.
And there are, of course, many other elements that we aren't including. They're spinning around on their heads. They're doing tap dancing. They're jumping around. I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch. I would actually go see it again.
I did not expect to be impressed by this at all. So we had a really great time.
So we would say Mickey's America Streetbeat, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Highly recommended.
Through July 14th.
That is correct.
Oh, and it's at the American Gardens Theater in Epcot.
And while we're watching the rest of the ending of this show, the finale, I thought you can maybe tell about what's coming up for next week.
Well, we're going to probably end up talking about the refillable mugs. 2 years ago, we did a very detailed video and article on the testing of refillable mugs, and it seems that's actually coming, where they're going to have the RFID chip.
And you can buy them for 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, or as many as 14 days length of stay.
Yeah, something like that.
And also they're good at more than one resort. So if you get one at the All-Star and you happen to visit the Grand Floridian, you can use it there too.
I actually didn't know that.
Yep,
so
that is
if that's
fact.
true, then I'm glad.
That is what I read today. So, the internet would never lie.
Well,
I believe everything I read on the internet. So.
Well, take everything with a grain of salt till we talk about it in depth.
Yeah, we'll find out all the definite truths, at least whatever we can find out by next week.
But you won't be able to bring it back.
No, according to what I read, you have to get a new cup on your next visit. So you can't I guess they don't have the capability to recharge or re-up the RFID chip once you use it.
I would like that. Again, I'd like to be able to do that.
Right, refresh it because of green purposes. You hate to see the cup go to waste.
And they're all the same cup. So if you have like 10 of the same cup.
Right. Well, I don't know. Anyway, that'll be next week. Hopefully we'll have some answers to that. But thanks again for another great show.
And this is still a Mickey's America Streetbeat, which was, again, a lot of fun. And thank you to Theme Park Connection in Winter Garden, Florida.
Don't forget their new online store.
And they're near Red Robin, which recently opened a couple months ago.
And we need to go there, too.
Yes.
And also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency. Best deals on tickets in town. We will see you all next week.
Have a great week.
Bye now.